Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Sweeney. We are going to do the Stellaluna Comprehension lesson. So let's go ahead and begin. So here's what you're going to need for the lesson today. You're going to need your reading notebook and pencil. Then you're going to open to your next clean page and write today's date at the top, 10-14-20. Go ahead and stop the video at this time to get your supplies and write today's date at the top of your next clean page. When you're finished, come back and press play. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to listen to the reading of Stellaluna.
Hello, my name is Pamela Reed, and welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the Screen Actors Guild Foundation. Today we're going to read the book Stellaluna by Janelle Cannon. In a warm and sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. "I'll name you Stellaluna," she crooned. Each night, Mother Bat would carry Stellaluna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stellaluna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. The dark leafy tangle of branches caught Stellaluna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stellaluna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," Stellaluna squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down again, she dropped. Flop! Stellaluna landed head first in a soft, downy nest, startling the three baby birds who lived there. Stellaluna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the three birds. "What was that?" cried Flap. "I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh, here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many, many times that day, Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food for her babies. Stellaluna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things Mama Bird brought. Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Stellaluna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs, even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing. Except for one thing, Stellaluna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet. Once when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. "Eek!" she cried. "Get back up here this instant. You're going to fall. Break your necks." The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama Bird stopped Stellaluna. "You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house." Stellaluna promised. She ate bugs without making faces. She slept in the nest at night, and she didn't hang by her feet. Stellaluna behaved as a good bird should. All the babies grew quickly. Soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna jumped from the nest. Their wings worked. I'm just like them, thought Stellaluna. I can fly too. Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stellaluna tried to do the same. Oh, ouch. Whoops. How embarrassing. I will fly all day, Stellaluna told herself. Then no one will see how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We better go home, or we will get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stellaluna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stellaluna flew and flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang by my feet, Stellaluna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near. Hey, a loud voice said, why are you hanging upside down? Stellaluna's eyes opened wide. She saw a most peculiar face. I'm not upside down. You are, Stellaluna said. Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You're hanging by your thumbs. So that makes you upside down, the creature said. I'm a bat. I am hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stellaluna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. You ate bugs? Stuttered one. You slept at night? Gasped another. Very strange, they all murmured. Wait, let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you? She asked. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, you are Stellaluna. You are my baby. You escaped the owl? Cried Stellaluna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she wrapped her wings around Stellaluna. Come with me, and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stellaluna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark, or we'll crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stellaluna as she stuffed herself full. I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stellaluna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night, and they eat the best food in the world, Stellaluna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stellaluna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Aye! Shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stellaluna. I must rescue them. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. We're safe, said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike? Mused Flitter. And how can we feel so different and be so much alike? Wondered Pip. I think this is quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stellaluna. But we're friends, and that's a fact. I really like this book, and I hope you do too. And I hope you enjoy all the things that you have with your friends that are the same, especially all the things that are different.
All right, so now that we have finished our reading of Stellaluna, let's continue our lesson. What we're going to be discussing today is problem and solution. A problem would be like Bobby is sick with a cold and can't go to school. It's something that is not maybe a good thing that's happening. It's a situation that is going to need something done about it. Then a solution. Bobby's mom gives him medicine and lets him rest at home. So that would be the solution to the problem. So how can we correct what's wrong? If something's wrong, what can we do to fix it? The solution. So since he's sick, that's the problem. He can't go to school. So that's what's wrong. So what are we going to do to fix it? What's going to be the solution? His mom is going to give him some medicine and let him rest at home. So now let's talk about the problem and solution in Stellaluna. The problem in Stellaluna when the owl appears is what? So we're going to think about. Then the solution for Stellaluna. So how is that problem going to be fixed? So those are the two things that we're going to look at. So let's start with the problem. What is the problem when the owl appears? Now, good readers always go back to the text. They always go back and look to find the information in the text. So here is the page from when the owl appears in Stellaluna. Let's read it. One night as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stellaluna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster into the forest below. So now what I want you to do is have your notebook open to where you have today's date, 10-14-20, and I want you to write problem, just like Miss Sweeney has right here. I want you to write that on your notebook, okay? Go ahead and pause the video at this time to write the word problem, and then come back and press play when you're ready to continue. So what is the problem when the owl appears? So we're going to write the problem that's happening from this page. Okay? So Miss Sweeney is going to begin typing. The owl struck Mother Bat over and over again. Stellaluna fell from her mother to the forest below. So that's what the text says. here that we're using to answer the question, what is the problem? So what I want you to do is I want you to write this down in your notebook. So go ahead and pause the video and write this down. And then when you're done, come back and press play. So we've got the problem. The owl struck Mother Bat over and over again. Stellaluna fell from her mother to the forest below. So now what's the solution? How is this problem going to be fixed or corrected? So what do? Good readers, we go back to the text. So here we have a piece of the text to determine the solution. So let's read. Stellaluna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs, even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing, except for one thing. Stellaluna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet. Once, when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. Eek! She cried. Get back up here this instant. You're going to fall and break your necks. So, based off of this text, after Stellaluna falls to the forest below, what is the solution to that problem? What happens? According to the text, Stellaluna is learning to be like a bird and is being cared for by Mama Bird. So let's write that down as our solution. So what I want you to do now is I want you in your notebook, under where you just wrote the problem, now I want you to write the word solution, just like this, in your notebook. When you're done, come back and press play. So the solution, Stellaluna learned to be like the birds. Mama Bird took care of her. I want you to write this down now in your notebook to go with the solution for what happens to her problem. Go ahead and write this down in your reading notebook and come back and press play when you are done. So now, let's look at sequencing the story Stellaluna. Sequencing means putting a story in order. I've used what I like to call my sentence starter words. First, comma, next, comma, then, comma. And what I want to do is put this order of Stellaluna here, but I also want to remember that it's not all the details in the story, it's the most important details from the beginning, the middle, and the end. So what I want you to do at this time is in your notebook, I want you to write first, comma, and I want you to go ahead and try and tell me what happens first in Stellaluna, the first most important event at the beginning. Then I want you to write next, comma, and I want you to continue that sentence and tell me what is the middle of the story, the most important detail. And then I want you to finish by writing then, comma, and finish and tell me what happens at the end of Stellaluna. When you are done, I want you to come back and I want you to press play and I want you to check your work to Miss Sweeney's work. So go ahead and press pause on the video and complete the sequence of Stellaluna. Come back and press play when you are finished. All right, so Miss Sweeney has written down the order of Stellaluna, including the most important details from the beginning, the middle, and the end. So let's review what I wrote. First, Stellaluna falls from her mother after a bat attacks them, period. So that's the most important detail from the beginning. Is that what you had? If not, you can correct yours and pause the video and correct it and then come back and press play. If you did have what Miss Sweeney had, awesome. Let's go to the next. Next, Stellaluna learns to live like the birds who rescued her, period. So, in the middle, that's the most important detail. She learns to become like the birds that she's living with. If you have that, awesome. If not, you can stop the video and correct your work and then come back when you're finished. Let's continue. Then, Stellaluna is reunited with her mother, period. So at the end, she finds her mother again. Is that what you have? If not, you can correct your work. If so, awesome. Now, let's go to the next part of today's lesson. Now, making connections. When we read, we're always thinking in our heads, I've heard of something like this before. Or, oh gosh, I bet what Stellaluna was going through was scary. Or we're connecting to something that's happening in the story by maybe something that's happened to us, maybe something that's happened in another book we've read, or maybe just something that we would know about in the world. So, what I want you to do right now in your notebook is I want you to draw and write about how Stellaluna feels at one point in the story. So I just want you to pick any part of the story that happened in Stellaluna, and I want you to draw a picture and write about how you think Stellaluna feels. Then I want you to draw and write about how you would feel if you were in the same situation as Stellaluna. So I want you to complete these 2 parts in your notebook right now. Press pause on the video, then come back and press play to see what Miss Sweeney's connection was. So what Miss Sweeney thought about was when Stellaluna was reunited with her mother again. And I wrote that Stellaluna was so happy to be back with her mother. Now, Miss Sweeney can't draw on here, but I would have drawn a picture of the 2 bats, the mother bat and Stellaluna, hugging. Then I thought about how I would feel if I were in that same situation. And I wrote, I would be crying tears of joy to be back with my mother. And like I said, I can't draw a picture, but I would have drawn a picture of me and my mom hugging. So that was the connection and the time of the story that I thought about. So I hope you were able to find a connection too. Now, what we're going to do is look at the prefix dis. And remember, we talked about this before. It means not. So some examples would be disappeared. So when I put dis in front of appeared, it changes the meaning from like appeared, where you see people, they come out of the dark, they come out of, an area where they're not seen, to disappeared, meaning that they're not appearing or they're missing, they vanish, they're gone. The next word, displease. If you please someone, you're doing something that they want you to do, you're obeying them, you're making them happy. But if you're displeasing, that means you're not making someone happy, or you're not doing something that would make people feel good. Disobey. Obeying means you're following the rules, you're doing what you are told. But to disobey is not obeying the rules, not doing what you're told. And then the suffix ed. Now, suffixes go on the back of words. It means something's already happened. So some examples would be followed. If I am following someone, then I am walking behind them as they're walking. But if I have followed someone, it means I've already went behind them. I've already done that. I've already gone where they've told me to go. Explained. Explain would be I am telling you what to do. I am showing you. I am going through the directions. But if I have already explained something to you, that means I've already told you. I've already gone through the directions. I've already told you what to do. Okay, guys, that concludes our lesson for today. So I hope you have a great rest of your day and you are completing your assignments in Schoology. I will talk to you later. Bye.